Well, for the first time in over a year, people are starting to get evicted again. Uh, with the coronavirus, there was about a year and a half worth of freezes in evictions. And now in my personal life, I know people who own property who are having tenants evicted. In my personal life, I see people buying properties. Even myself, I've been closer to buying property than ever before. And you see, the people that have money, they're at a point where they're ready to use it. After a tragic event, it spurs people to live their life rather than put their life on hold too much longer. And there's also a dynamic of how much money can you save before inflation eats away your savings. So you have a dynamic where we could have peaked economically. We're definitely not going to see what we saw the past year and a half because people are going to get evicted. People are buying houses. So some of the money is draining out of the system, and there's some more inventory that will come on the system. So there's a philosophy that if you can wait out this initial rush of the country reopening, that there will be a downturn in about a year or so. Now, the X factor is the world. Most of the world, other than the United States of America and some other developed countries, still has a big problem with COVID. So, we don't know how that'll play out. But the general philosophy is that there was a peak and we'll see a little bit of a leveling off. Good to see everyone on the live chat. Everyone, what's up? Keep it up a break. ESP, Brandon, good to see everyone. But, the answer of, when to buy a house, some economists will say 2023, some will say another year. The answer is no one knows the future. And that's always the X factor. If we knew the future, guys, life would be a lot different. And like I always say, like I've said myself, a house could complement your life, but doesn't make your life. For 5 years, live without a house. And, for me, it really hasn't been like this huge burden. It's been a relief in many instances. And that's what scares me a little bit about buying a house again, because to me, I don't have this misconception of what it is. I've already owned a house for 15 years. I've lived in my car for 5. So, it's like what lifestyle? It's just a lifestyle difference. It's a money allocation difference is really what it boils down to. Okay. And, trying to time exactly when to buy is not an exact science. Always below your means, always in an area you want to live, in an area that there's got to be a level of economics and a culture where there's enough resources and enough opportunity where you could survive. And you'd be happy if you had to not travel and you live that area. Because what else is life? That's life. And I will say, even as a nomad, staying at campgrounds for the past couple of weeks and using that as a resource has really taken off the edge of the stealth parking and of the, always on the move. The only problems with campgrounds is you got to keep it moving. That's the difference between staying at a campground and a house, which can be exciting and can wear you out. But, one thing I like about the campgrounds, I'm not responsible for anything. Well, I got my slot that's mine. I got my utilities if I need them. I don't take care of any maintenance. And some of them are enjoyable. So, that's very alluring to me. Good to see you, Savant and Tony, Jesse. It's very alluring to me, the life of little to no liability, little to no maintenance. And yeah, you never get your money back that you rent. But you never get certain money back that you pay in home ownership with regards to property taxes, property insurance, maintenance of the house. Now, whether the rate of inflation and the rate of appreciation, they may even that out. But the thing is, if we're at a top, and if you wait another couple years, I don't see houses appreciating at the same rate they have in the past 2 years, because you got evictions, There's not that much stimulus anymore. And, they're not going to, houses, even if inflation stays, houses ain't going to go up 30% a year. It's just because there's not enough people to afford them, guys. Like, salaries for the average person, not that high. So, those are questions you have to ask yourself. But, look, it's like, how do you want to spend the next 2 years of your life? Time is the elusive thing that none of us can avoid, no matter how much money or how little. And that's what I always tell you guys, and what I tell myself, is if you're living below your means, it doesn't matter what time. Because if you buy a house below your means, what does it really matter? Other than, you want to get the most out of your money, and you want to, buy at a reasonable price so that you can get out of it if you need to. But, I think it's mainly lifestyle. I mean, obviously, once you justify the money, however you're going to justify its lifestyle. And there's a lot to be said for the renting lifestyle or the nomad lifestyle with regards to freedom, flexibility, and lack of liability. There's a lot to be said for a level of home ownership when it comes to stability. You're not always searching for where you're going to go next. Initially, that's fun, but that can wear you out. And, like I say, equity appreciation is a value. And, there is a level of pride in home ownership. There is a rhythm to that. You do need a little bit of a rhythm, a little bit of a security blanket. Some of it's psychological, but psychological is part of human. So either way, what I've experienced now in my adult life, I'm halfway through my adult life, is that either method could be done. Okay. Now, I don't really like renting as far as from other people, because I don't like to be in other people's spaces. Okay. But I have no problem spending money on a campground, which is the same thing as renting. And, even if I had to hotel it, which is the same thing as renting. But I'd rather rent from there than rent from a person, because I just don't like to be in a person's house. But the crossroads that I look at, and we're at the end of 2021, guys. I mean, so if you're not paying attention to your life, wake up, because we're almost in 2022, another year's gone. But I don't think that means you have to rush to buy. A little bit, I'm closer to buying, and a little bit of me says, Sam, why don't you wait? I guarantee you'll be some cheaper houses in 2023. But then the other side of me says, Sam, if you're finding a house now below your means, and it's where you want to live, what does it matter if you get the house for 30% less? I mean, because at a certain point, what are you doing? Just, you got to wait. But there's a certain part of me that's always going to love the nomad life. Okay. Why? Because I know no matter what, guys, even if I buy a small little place that's below my means and it's never a problem, really, I will never be as free as I am without owning property. There's no way around that. Okay. No way. So what do you give up that freedom for? Well, some security and some rhythm, some stability and some home equity. Is it worth it? Guys, you could cut the apple a million ways. Do you want to wait till 2003 to eat the apple? It's a personal choice. Everyone's at a different point in their life, but I do feel there's a rush to start living their life again because, like at least in the developed countries, COVID's kind of past us. And so there's a rush now to spend, and to live. And there's a start for those who are not doing economically well, the few people, not the few people, I shouldn't say that. The percentage of people that aren't doing well, they can't work, or they're not making enough, or they're on hardship, which we've all been if you've been a regular person. So I don't want to say that and be dismissive, because I've been in a tough situation. The only thing that it's hard to believe is that, when times were bad and I owed more of my house than it was worth, the Federal Reserve never lowered the interest rate during the housing crisis like they did now. They never did mass bailouts. So as far as like for regular people, they never did stimulus. They did bailouts of the banks. And so, look, you had a year and a half to figure out what you want to do with your living situation. If you didn't figure that out in a year and a half, how are you ever going to figure it out? So, but I always have empathy because everyone has their own situation. So, but I'm covering on the topics of homes and where we're at in society. The certain percentage of people that have just been sitting on their hands or they're just on hard times, the evictions will start, inventory will come back online. It's already starting because I already see it now. Already seen a couple people I know, they're evicting tenants. A couple people I know, they're buying houses. I'm looking at buying a house. So either more inventory is coming on, okay, or people who have money are spending it, and eventually everyone who wants a house buys a house, or at least the vast majority. When you get to that tipping point, which I think we're just about at, will probably cycle out within the next 12 months, then you have everyone who wanted to buy a house pretty much has bought one. And then, so what do you have? Now you have no more mass buyers, okay? So I'm not going to say you're going to have mass sellers, but you're not going to have a whole wave of people looking to buy new houses because that wave already passed. You know what I mean? It was the wave. Now it's like, it's still waving, but it's, so I think if you wait until 2023, you could probably get a better deal, but you may get a worse deal. I don't know the future. Okay. No one knows the future. That's truth. And it all depends on your individual circumstance. And that's all my messages tonight. Now we're going to go to all live comments, guys. Shout out to you. Shout out to everyone watching. And we'll go from there. It was a nice day in Florida today overall. Very thankful. Shout out to Solomon and Mama. Saw them. Aaron, good to see you. Keeping up a break. It's me. Brandon. Hey, great to see you, Sam. Good to see you too, Brandon. How's everything? Tony, what's up, Tony? Savat, good evening all. Savat, love to you, brother. How's Jacksonville? A little cooler. Someone from Flagler Beach left a comment on my channel today. I guess it was only 50 degrees in Flagler Beach. That's interesting. Tony, what's up, man? How's it going? Overall, feels good. I made the most of my day, so I feel positive about that. And happy to be in Florida. Happy to be living my best life. And I feel good. Overall, my day was positive. So my parents just got lucky. They bought the neighbor's house for $58K. They're going to renovate it and rent it out. In Jacksonville? Yeah, I don't know. I looked at properties from $40K to $240K. And what I found is you can get a property for $40K, but it's going to probably be in the middle of nowhere, and it's going to need work. So you can get a property for anything, but it's all relative to what it offers and an individual perspective, because we all like different things. So, Savat, it is cooler. I will be moving further south. Yeah, I was surprised it was only 50 degrees. Even though it's going to get warmer next couple of days, I was surprised it's only 50 up north Jacksonville area. Oh, no, Iowa. Iowa, to me, Iowa, you could definitely find a property for $58K, even though I've never been to Iowa, so I don't want to act like I have. But, like I say, there's parts of Florida that you can find a house for $58K, but, would you want to move there? Well, what happens is a lot of people look at a state they want to move, and they just look at price range and they look at pictures online and they get all excited and they sometimes they bid sight unseen. Sometimes they just go visit the area once. One thing I will say, if I buy a house, I've been without a house 5 years. 2 of those years I was still in New Jersey. It's taken me 3 years of being in Florida 90% of the year for me to figure out where I would want to be in Florida and what I'd be willing to commit to. And even now, every place, even the greatest place, has a little negative. So even now I say to myself, like, man, I mean, it really takes a long time to figure out what area works for you. So, some people rush it though, like I say, the whole point of financial freedom is so you don't have to rush. People who rush are usually desperate, and I've been there, and desperate people make desperate decisions, and it's a cycle. You're always chasing your tail. And I understand the emotions of it. And I even felt it today, and I always tell myself, wait at least 24 hours before you buy anything more than $55,000. Why? Because why you have to rush? I mean, if you got to rush, if the salesperson or they say, oh, it's going to be gone tomorrow. Well, if it's going to be gone tomorrow, I mean, I don't know. To me, there's always going to be a house for sale, man. Even in low inventory, man. This past year, I've been looking for houses, been the lowest inventory ever. I keep finding spots. So, you know, I don't know, that's how I feel. Tony, my house only cost me 60K, but that was during the recession. Yeah, I remember that. So the house renovated can sell at 180K easy. Yeah, well, renovated is every renovation you lose a piece of your soul. There are some people that have a passion for renovation, but I want to tell you, renovations cost more than you think, financially and emotionally. Now, I know because I've done them. Now, does that mean you should just listen to me and not do them? No, I believe that everyone should live their life as long as they're not hurting someone. And, that's everyone. That's what makes the world go round. But when it comes to buying a property, either you're going to buy it for an investment or you're going to buy it to live in. But if you're going to buy it to live in, don't buy it to see what you can flip it at. But I don't know, man. For me, I would not want to, I don't want to renovate anything again, Even a house that's like move-in ready. What I look at when I buy a house now is what can go wrong with this house and what would I have to repair? And a lot of times that's enough to make me nauseous because I've lived it already. And I know the reality. The idea is different than the reality. I remember a girl told me that when I dated her. She goes, Sam, you don't like a relationship. You like the idea of a relationship. The reality is very different. I said, oh, shit. Is she right? And sometimes I like the idea of a home base. I don't know if I like the reality, but Tony, houses are going for crazy money out here in Maryland. Maryland's the richest state in America if you measure it by statistics of income, etc. Some places in Montgomery County, one of the richest in the U.S., yep, townhouse will cost you $300K. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know how anyone would want to spend $300K to live in a cold weather climate. Well, here's how. Their family's there. They're used to growing up in that area. There's job opportunities. And if you have job opportunities, your family's in that area, you're not moving. A lot of people, even if there's no job opportunities, if their family in that area, they ain't moving. Why? That's human nature. So we do construction ourselves. Well, there you go. But the material will be at least 30K. Well, that makes sense. So let's round it up. You buy it for 60. You put 30 into it. You got 90. And you got transactional fees. Every time you buy and sell property, you got closing costs. If there's inspections, if there's financing involved. Of course, if you're doing cash, you can mitigate some of that. But every time you buy and sell, that's part of it. 10 real estate agent commission fees if you're not doing it by owner. So every time you buy and sell property, you're looking at anywhere between, 4 to 12% of the sales price is going out the door. So you just have to be mindful that. But, look, everyone is different. There's some people that are into construction. They have a passion for real estate. And, that's what they do, and so I respect it, and it is true. Look, the other part of this whole thing is like, why wait till 2023? Is a lot of people who are doing decent, they got statistically, there has never been more money in savings account in the United States of America than today, and so now that everything's digital, the government's able to see the percentage of income that's in the savings account. And on average, there has never been as much in savings accounts as there is in 2021. So it's kind of fair to say that's probably going to go down a little bit as people buy houses, okay? Because where do you go when you buy a house? You take money out of savings. And so what do you go do when you renovate a house? You take money out of savings. And so eventually some of the money comes out of the accounts, the savings account, and they go into assets. Whether they go into Bitcoin or whether they go into a duplex, they go into assets. Okay. And whether or not those assets go up or down, depending on supply and demand and government intervention. So there's never been as much government intervention with interest rates at zero. They're encouraging people to buy to keep the economy going. So if that slows up, they already announced that they're slowing on the mortgage purchasing on tapering. If that slows up, and the savings accounts go down, then you're going to have a balance out of supply and demand, Savat, $4.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. Here is some for the savings account. Damn it, Savat, thank you. I pray that if your parents get that property, everything's go well. Thank you very much for that gracious tip, Savat. Savat and everyone listening, if I buy this home base, money is coming out of the savings account. But it will be below my means. Does it inspire me to buy a house? I have mixed emotions. Every house I buy is under 500 square feet. It's very low maintenance. It's probably going to have an HOA. So the liability's not that high. I'm pretty much just buying a place to park. Because if a hurricane comes and blows it away, I'm just putting an RV there. It's an RV lot. But Savat, thank you, brother. Thank you to all my members. I appreciate you, Savat. Good luck to your family. I hope these videos help a little bit just talking about real estate. Cartoon Mark, what's up, brother? I got some high dollar stairs for sale. I don't want them. Seriously, damn. My mortgage just went up $200. How's that? Oh, and escrow? Probably because of taxes went up. Escrow shortage. Yep, insane to own a house. Well, here's the problem. Good point, Mark. See, everyone says, oh, yeah, my house went up in value. You should own a house. Inflation. Well, guys, when your value of your house goes up, every year the county assesses the property value that you own, and they will raise your property taxes and raise your home insurance in proportion to the value of your property. So you don't get away from recurring fees. Now, if you're nomading, campground fees proportionally go up because the campground owner, whether they're the state, whether they're a private corporation or a mom and pop, they have to pay property taxes. Okay, so they're going to raise the rent. So what's the difference between paying a campground versus paying a mortgage? Well, no liability. However, no price home equity. Look, the only way you truly get around the system is, look, you live in your car or van and you stealth park. That's the only way. But you pay a price that wears you out. And if you save a certain amount at a certain point, I'm done with stealth camping, at least for a little while. We'll see. Cartoon Mark, I love you, brother. I feel your pain, man. Hang in there. Thank you again, Savat. Aaron, what is high dollar sales at Cartoon Mark? Tony, damn, Mark, that sucks. My property taxes went up. I feel your pain. I know someone who owns a multifamily. Their property taxes went up. Their tenants stopped paying. We are seeing a flushing of the propped up, super inflated market. Doesn't mean we're going to have a crash, but guys, that's over. Aaron, stairs. Sam, Tony, Sam, what's the state tax in Florida? There is no state income tax. State sales tax? That's a good question. Holy cow, $1.99 super chat. Life is suffering. Peace and love from Michigan. Well, Cal, that is true. At any time, life can knock any of us on our ass. Now, when we're not on our ass, we should get up, number one. Why? Because if we stay down, the world keeps kicking us. Then number two is we have less suffering the more productive we are, the more structured our routine, the more flexible we are to deal with adversity. If we don't go after a better life, we get the worst suffering life. If we go after our best life, we still suffer, but it's less. So what's the sales pitch to being a positive person? Well, look, yeah, you may get taken advantage of, but you can be positive and still have boundaries and be very smart. So, but the bottom line is, why just not be a negative asshole and just hate everyone? Because it's only going to make your life more suffering. So stay a little bit more positive. Okay. Take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. And if you're in a bad zone in life, just work on yourself one day at a time. I agree with that. And then Tony asked, what state tax? If you mean like state sales tax, we'll take a look. But I moved to Florida because there's no state income tax. I want to live off investments, guys. And then figure out what my next dimension of growth is. Because if I buy a home base, get enough in savings, continue to work the main job, the side jobs, then I got to figure out what's my next dimension, right? Because buying a house for some people is their life goal. Oh shit. $4.99 super chat. We're on fire tonight. Call Joe Biden. Journey with Jordan. Great topic, Sam. Thank you. Yesterday, was my last day at my corporate job. Next week, I start real estate courses. Oh, we're at the peak. By the end of the year, I'll be a realtor. Oh, we're at the peak of housing prices. Oh, everyone's a real estate agent. Oh, my God. Brother, congratulations, man. Make this money before 2023. But here's the good news, Journey with Jordan. One is you're getting a certification. That's number one. Number two is, remember, if everyone has bought a house, if they eventually they're going to want to sell a house. So either way, even if there becomes more sellers than buyers, real estate agents are the gatekeeper or the toll that you have to pay to buy and sell. Now you can buy and sell by owner, but most people don't do it. And I see why, because I've bought and sold from an owner. It could go either way. In the future, I don't think there'll be real estate agents. I think everything will like be Zillow. Like even now, I saw a couple houses you could just buy from Zillow, sell a Zillow, one click, even though I know Zillow stopped buying for now. But Journey with Jordan, I still think that's a valuable asset. I still think there's some money to be made in it. But being a real estate agent is being a salesperson. The bulk of your money is made off commission. So what should you do? You should get your certification, even if you're going to be careful. Well, look, you already gave your 2 weeks notice for corporate. So what would I do? I would DoorDash on the side. I would have another source of income other than real estate. Why? Because if you depend solely on the commission, even though I know some of these brokerage firms for real estate companies, they give a base salary very low. You want to have money coming in. Why? You don't want to be a high pressure salesperson. You want to be a low pressure. You want to have financial freedom. You're a better salesperson when you don't need to make the sale. Never forget it. And the other thing I want to tell you, Journey, and all my salespeople, follow up, follow up, follow up. Okay. The other thing I want to tell you is that when it comes to real estate, it is a very emotional and a very sticky process. Okay? And it's the opposite of being liquid in cash. And a little bit of that makes me upset. But what will make you upset is if you're too liquid in cash, there is a level of inflation, whether it's going to be higher or lower, there's still inflation. So you're not beating the system by staying in cash. You're just having more options. I don't know. Look, it always, look, as a single person with no pets, no kids, you never need to own shit. You really don't. It's an asset allocation. And I said to myself, I said, Sam, you really don't need to own shit. And I think about that. If you're going to have a family, you should own. Why? Because, look, you're settling down. You need some stability. You need to be in a community. You need a school system. Okay? You need resources. Good luck, Journey. That's all I want to tell you, brother. Thank you for that gracious tip. Thank you, Cal. Thank you, Savat. Let's go back to these live comments. Let's take a hydration break. Shout out to everyone watching. Love to you. Thank you. If I miss a comment, please type it again. Forgive me. All right. Tony was saying, yeah, them transaction fees are a killer. Yeah. Every time you buy and sell property, they tell everyone's got their hand in the pocket. Because again, real estate's a sticky thing, man. Everyone's going to get a little bit out of you. From the real estate agents to the HOA, if there's no HOA, to the construction or landscapers that you're going to have to hire, to the property insurance that you're going to have to buy, to the utility company that you're going to have to pay. Everyone's got their hand in your pocket, guys. You might as well just... I remember I did work for a neighbor, moved in my community when I owned a property in New Jersey. And she was like, she bought a house, she renovated it. As soon as you buy a house, you renovate it. She bought a house, she was renovating it. And I was doing some of my last electrical work. And I was asking, oh, you going to do this and that? She goes, yeah. She goes, but when it comes to the carpentry stuff, I'm not going to do that. She goes, I don't have any more money. The well's all dry. And that's what happens. Savat, thank you again. Cartoon Mark, I read this yet. Hang in there, brother. Aaron, oh, yeah, I read that. Yeah, Oh yeah. Tony was asking, what is the uh state sales tax? State sales tax in Florida is 6% sales tax. Uh, Cal, thank you again, brother. Hang in there, man. Yeah, I know it could be tough, but we'll get through it one day at a time, brother. Thank you, Cal. ESP, your property taxes are crazy because it was estimated value of your home that you pay taxes on. But just because an appraiser says your home is worth a certain amount, that doesn't mean it is. You are right. You'll be able to sell it for that. ESP. ESP, did you own a house throughout your life? I know you were married at one point. Tony, man, I have friends who are landlords. It's about to hit the fan up here with that craziness. Yeah, I know someone getting evicted right now because they didn't pay. So, again, I think 2023 there may be more deals, but again, I don't know that. It could be worse deals. No one knows the future. So, one thing with owning property is that inflation is coming and it already started. Well, that's definitely true. It already started. The question is, has it peaked out? Because inflation is when cost of things goes up. And we've already seen it go up. Has it stopped now? Because at a certain point, it can only go up high enough where people can afford to pay it. And at a certain point, if everyone thinks the same thing, right? If everyone thinks the only way to hedge against inflation is to buy real estate, then everyone goes on a one side of the boat. And if everyone goes on that one side of the boat, then eventually you're going to get deflation, because then you're going to have an out of balance in the system. And, so, because the average person doesn't say, oh, inflation is high, so I'm going to buy a dividend stock. I'm going to invest in this or that. None of those things are guaranteed either. The average working person in America, most developed countries, they say, oh, if inflation is high, that means I buy real estate. And if the masses herd into real estate, then that means there's going to be out of balance. And by 2023, we'll see if there'll be a somewhat of an exodus. Now, again, do I know the future? No, I may buy a house. I may be part of the masses. I don't know, man. It's a crazy thing. You just got to live your life. Tony. ESP. Exactly. I know people who got screwed royally when they went to sell their houses. Yep. Journey with Jordan, brother. Bottom line, you're getting a certification, becoming a real estate agent, which you can take anywhere in the country. Well, you may have to get a different exam per state. That I'm not sure. Probably. Like when I have my electrical license in New Jersey, you can't take that to Florida. You have to take another test. So, but either way, brother, at least you're trying to transition to something to find your passion, your joy. A real estate agent is all about relationships. It's all about make people feel comfortable, be patient. There's going to be a lot of people that back out. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. Follow up, be patient, be personable. What's my number one piece of advice for real estate agents? Be personable, don't pressure, and follow up. If you do that, you got your best shot in that game. You don't even really have to be that bright. Cartoon Mark, that's like any business in life, no matter what it is. Cartoon Mark, Sam, got us on the night shift. Yeah, tonight. I'm tucked in hugging the heater. Brother, I got my cutoff. It was a cold front in South Florida today. I think it was only 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Back to high 70s, 80s in the coming week. But, yeah, I went to visit a couple of viewers that I know at the channel. Great people. It's great to see them. And so I'm running a little late. I went to look at a home base today. And look, when it comes to buying a home, I always get to a point where I get excited. And then I stop. Why? Because I just say to myself, does this improve my life? And in some areas, it does. But there's no area that it's going to 100%. The biggest thing with me now is that I always go back to Once you find where you want to live, the only reason not to buy a house is if there's something you can't find below your means, because it's like really hard to justify if you're going to circle around one area just renting for a long period of time. For a couple of years, I think it's wisdom. For a long period of time, not that it's necessarily wrong though, because again, you're never going to get your money out of a house till you sell it. And, if I buy a house, I'm never getting that money back till I sell it. However, if I keep my money in the bank, I'm losing money on it every year. And at a certain point, you save up a certain amount of money to improve your quality of life. And it is better to own your house than to be, well, it depends on your landlord relationship. But look, I would either nomad or own. I really don't want a landlord, but I wouldn't be against it. There's so many ways to cut the pie, guys. So what do we go back to? Live below your means, find out where you want to live, keep enough flexibility in your lifestyle that if a major disaster comes, you got to out. Is owning property for everyone? No. Is owning property wrong? No. Everything has a pro and a con, guys. That's the bottom line. So you got to figure out what works for you in your individual circumstance. Tony, laughing, hugging the heater. I'm in the front of the fireplace. Aaron, thumbs up, guys. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron, how was your day? How's your son's doing? Let's go all live comments, guys. Let me stop bullshitting. ESP, I've got my heat turned up in my van. I'm drinking hot coffee. Damn it. Now, I'm not going to lie. This is what, now you get me upset. Why? Because this is what does inspire me. Like, being in a van or car and being cozy and just being able to turn that car, there's something to be said for that, guys. I ain't going to lie about it. Okay. Because when you look in your van or your car and everything you got is there and there's no shingles, there's no fucking nothing. There's just you. Everything is simple. It's cozy. I even said today, look, guys, one of the home base I look at, I would maybe still park my car and sleep in the driveway. I don't know, man. There's something about it. I'm just paying basically for a spot to park. Is that crazy? Well, sometimes I think about that. Back to these live comments. Tony, buying from owners is rare, is a rare find. As a rare friend of my family sold me my house, didn't screw me on the commission. He only charged me 5%. Well, yeah, that's not bad. That's not great. The average real estate agent charges 6% real estate fees, 3% to the buying agent, 3% to the seller. If you do both, you get the whole thing. I negotiated down my real estate commissions to 4%, 2 for the buying agent, 2 for the seller. 5 is in the middle. Good job. ESP, ready for the night shift, laughing. Hey, look, guys, the night shift is a blessing. Why? Because you got less people to deal with, less politics, and you can do something during the day. Now, what's the negative of the night shift? It messes up your sleep cycle. It can get you in an algorithm of eating unhealthy and being unhealthy. I know I've worked a night shift. It has pros and cons. You can start a business during the day and work the night shift, but you can burn yourself out. But for those who are looking to get their foot in the door, or if they're not in a season of life where they want to deal with people or too much politics, but they need a job, the night shift is a great opportunity. Yep. Tony, buying, oh, I read that. Aaron, the trolls are doing laundry. Forgot to thumbs down him tonight. Yeah, well, I don't think the trolls do laundry. I think they live with someone else. I don't think they have their own laundry machine. I mean, I went to a laundromat today. I don't think trolls are productive. I think trolls, instead of doing laundry, I think they wait around to thumbs down. However, I've made a commitment in the past couple of weeks that I don't want to spend a lot of time talking to the trolls. Why? Because I got a lot more people that want to talk to me about other stuff. So that I got to remind myself that when I get too negative, like Sam, It's one or two psychopaths with all the fake profiles, and they're probably totally nut jobs, even though they were good people, whatever. Why are you wasting so much energy on them? And I say to myself, I'm not. I'm back to the good comments. Aaron, how cold is ESP? ESP is in Alaska. Tony, I love coffee, ESP. It's the nectar of the gods. Yeah, I watched a documentary about coffee and how it made humans more productive. Before coffee, everyone was taking a nap. After coffee, the only people that take a nap are lazy sloths. So now the elderly and the seriously ill, they're exempt. But the regular person who takes a nap is more depressed than the average person. They're more lethargic, they're less productive, and the nap is the missing element in their psychiatrist diagnosis. If I was your therapist, the number one thing I would ask is, what time do you wake up and do you take a nap? You would tell me all this other shit about your childhood and about, your DNA. I would say, what time do you wake up and do you take a nap? And if you told me you wake up past 6 a.m. and you take a nap, I said, okay, forget everything about your prescriptions, everything like that. Wake up by 5 and don't take naps. Come back to see me in 2 weeks. That's how I do. And until you got that right, we're not going to talk about nothing else. Now, but that's just my opinion. Do what you want. Tony. Oh yeah, I read that. ESP. Aaron, it's not too bad. It's about 34 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not bad. It's supposed to get down to the 20s. That's not bad. Now look, when you come from South Florida, that's horrible. But growing up in New Jersey and spending 2 winters living in my car, I can tell you it doesn't get bad till you get to single digits. That's when it gets bad, when you get below 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So what do? Well, you can survive, but it's not easy. It's a pain in the ass. You got to layer up. You got to have a thermal sleeping blanket. And you got the main thing, though, beyond that is when you leave your car and you go into a store, you go into your job, the transition, you got to stay with those layers on. Because if you don't have your scarf on, your hat, all your things, it's when you leave your car and you go in the building. When you leave the building, you go in your car. That transition is when that cold air gets in your lungs. And that's when you get pneumonia. That's what you got to worry about. Aaron, stay warm. I agree. ESP, at Tony, exactly. Tony, I drink Death Wish coffee, double the caffeine. Yeah, that sounds like an energy drink. I never heard of that. I will say this. I remember living in my car in the winter, and it would be like extremely cold. And the news would say, oh, it's so cold that for all the homeless people out there, there's a lot of shelters and things. But I would tell them, man, it ain't that cold out here, So it doesn't get cold till single digits. Now, again, if you got no jacket, if you're naked, then of course. But if you got layers of clothes, it doesn't get cold unbearable till you're in your single digits. It's true. ESP, Aaron, this isn't too bad. I sleep very warm and cozy at night. Yeah, see? Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, everyone will say to you, oh, it's so cold that, you should stay in a place. You shouldn't be living in your car. But actually, like I say, until you're in single digits, it's not a hardship. And a lot of people, like, they're living in their car like, oh, it's 30 degrees. I survived. Guys, that's fucking it's like fucking South Florida. If it's 30 degrees outside and you're in your car, it's South Florida. I know. It's not Alaska until you're single digits or below zero in your car. That's when it's Alaska. ESP, at Tony, I love Death Wish. I never heard of this, but I only drink that in the morning. Aaron, good. ESP, I'm glad. Love to Aaron. I could never do it. You could do it. I could never do it in Alaska. You're tough. Well, I think most people could do it no matter where, but the temperature, whether you're in Alaska or Florida, the temperature is the same. So now, but different people are different. That is true too. It's like some people, their body and their mindset's a certain way. There's no right or wrong. I would say that if you go into the nomad life, it all depends on if you want it or if you don't want it. Why? Because there's a mindset when you want to do something, you're kind of like eager to figure it out if you can. You may not be able to. If you don't want to do something, you're eager to figure out how you can stop doing it, and you're looking for an excuse. So the mindset of the nomad is always the turning point on how far they will go into the nomadic life. If your mindset is you really don't want to be a nomad, you're going to find a reason to get off the road. If your mindset is I want to be a nomad, I'm going to figure out how to stay on the road, there's that mindset difference. Tony. Yeah, single digits is bad. That's getting into frostbite territory. ESP. I hope you have some down or wool, like down jacket or wool. Savat. Good night, all. We love you, Savat. Thank you again. Have to get up at 4:30 a.m. Shout out to you. Shout out to all truck drivers. Thank you again, Savat, brother. Love to you, man. Congratulations to your parents on their property. Tony. Alaska is a gorgeous, but I couldn't live there. I'm not paying $20 for a watermelon. Is that how much it costs in Alaska? David, ESP. At Aaron, I've got tons of cold weather gear. North Face sleeping bag rated at negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. It's actually too warm. I'd be sweating to get used to that now. I'll save that for later. That's interesting. Charles, what's up, Charles? Charles Ellison. Hey, Charles. Hey, Sammy. I recorded your advice to Pat Go about staying positive and continue to smell each other's farts. Yeah, well, that's good. Why is that good? Well, one is laughter is good for the soul. So even if you're the wisest person in the world, if you can't laugh, then you might as well be dead. However, remember, there's some people that all they do is bust balls. Okay, all they do is poke the bear. That type of person, guys, there's not laughter involved. It's like they got nothing to do, okay, but make trouble. And there ain't nothing funny about that, guys. Laughter is, look, it's in the spirit of whatever we're talking about. Someone like seeing if they can get someone to do something outrageous. That's like a prank video. I don't like prank videos. To me, when I see a prank video, I say a couple things. I say, one is her husband's gay. That guy ain't going like, you could tell. Or I say to myself, man, they're planting the seed of distrust. That relationship will be done in 10 years. Or I say to myself, this is so fake. Okay, they're probably not even a couple, but they're looking at what's trending, and what's trending is this prank video. And what do I say? Hey, man, in the world of side hustles, making fake ass videos is part of the hustle, ESP at Tony. Because our produce gets barged in by ships, it's always older to state. Here we go. It's always older to state and more. Yeah, home base, guys. Things going down. Yeah, it's always more in Alaska to get stuff shipped there because it's got to get barged in logistically. Remember, it's not part of the lower 48. It's disconnected. Things down in the lower 48 are poor quality. I try to eat locally grown produce. Ryan, what's up, Ryan? Great houses go so quick in the elite areas in Southwest Florida. Oh shit, damn, I missed a super chat. Jberg99. Hey Sam, I made it. Greetings from California. Jberg99, forgive me for being late in the super chat. Damn it, welcome to California. Now, some people say California is going downhill. Now, again, some areas, downtown LA, some areas, San Francisco, maybe. But I always wonder, like, why don't people go visit Kentucky and say Kentucky's a shithole? Why don't people go visit parts of destitute South Carolina? Why do people only pick California to pick on? If you go to Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi, you will find some of the most destitute. If you go to California, you're going to find some destitute. You're going to find some palm trees, some elite jobs, some great women, some great weather. Welcome to California. Good job, Jay Berg. Not bad. I'll tell you, I'm getting out of these gas stations, guys. I'm done. ESP at Tony. I have death. What death was? I've read this. I'm all out of track, guys. Forgive me. Yeah. So Ryan was saying all the properties go fast in Southwest Florida. Look, I think that's going to slow up soon. All I can tell you is, in my experience now and looking at houses for a couple of years, is that if I have to rush to do something, I rather let it go. Why? Because if you have to rush to buy something, you're going to end up having to rush to sell it. And from the minute you own it to the minute you sell it, you're going to live this rushed anxiety life. If you can slow down to the speed of wisdom, then I say let that speeder. I treat it just like being on the road. When someone wants to speed, I pull to the side. Let them get the speeding ticket. I'll cruise my way to the finish line. Tony, Sam, you could just rent or buy a driveway, just saying. It's a fair point. The only thing is I'm not hedging my bets if I get sick, hurt, or injured and for the future. So I do, if I'm going to allocate capital, I want to have a place that if I get sick, hurt, or injured, I have. That's the whole point of a home base. I don't want to, right now I'm at a campground. All I'm technically doing is renting a parking space. But if I get sick, hurt, or injured, even though I've been sick at a campground, I'm talking about like a serious thing. I want to hedge my bets. And, so that would be the thought process, but that's a good thought. Aaron, day was great, good. Won't hear from Miami. This is her son. And Miami trip is over. Older the finance kid stocks shelves at Walmart on weekends. Oh, good. So he's got another side hustle. So I usually don't hear from him till Monday. No news is generally good news. Yeah, my mom used to say that. Yeah, that's good, Aaron. That's good that they're being productive. And yeah, no news, good news. I agree with that. Tony, ESP, yeah. I get that anything you get up there that's not canned sucks. Because I guess it's got to get shipped. Definitely grown my own stuff up there. But how do you grow it? Do they have greenhouses up there? Jay Bird, thank you again. Shout out to California. Congratulations on reaching your destination. Aaron, as for me, up at 5, good, and totally productive. Thanks for asking, Aaron. Love to, appreciate to. Shout out to all mothers. Shout out to all social workers. Shout out to everyone out there trying to be positive. Thank you, Aaron, for your positivity. Love and respect. Charles, if I talk too much about the trolls, I'll probably attract them. Well, it is true that, look, energy attracts energy. So if there's a trolling, sarcastic mindset, that's the energy you create. And that's why even me, myself, I've been catching myself trying to stay more positive. Because if you start to talk to that troll talk too much, you create that energy. Now, they're out there. They're always going to be out there lurking. And sometimes that makes you upset that there's people like that in this world. But the bottom line is there's always going to be people like that. So other than a few exceptions, just stay positive, smile, and say thank you, Joe Biden. Aaron, laughing. I figured they did laundry at 9 p.m. Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, Aaron, I stand corrected. You are right. You are right. I stand corrected. Laughing. Yeah, Tony. Yeah, Aaron's right. Yeah, I do my laundry at night. Yeah. It's cheaper. Yeah, I understand that. Aaron, Tony, whatever works for you. I agree with that. My schedule can be crazy, so I do the same sometimes. All right. Aaron, I love North Face ESP. Great stuff. You're very warm. Tony, North Face is okay. Now, gotta look out for fakes. They're faking North Face like crazy out there. Ryan, the cold does me in. I feel your pain, man. I hate not having the freedom to do what I want. No, I empathize with that, man. I feel very grateful that I have the health, the ability, and the wherewithal to live on the road and to, redevelop my life. Now, I put in the work. So a lot of things I do or did, people wouldn't want to do. People wouldn't want to work in a ditch. People wouldn't want to work a job they hate. People wouldn't want to take the promotion. People wouldn't want to do side hustles. People wouldn't want to sleep 2 winters in their car. So a lot of times it's like, look, I'm in South Florida, but for 2 winters I was in my car in New Jersey. I worked in New Jersey outside for years. So it's a give and a take. I empathize with those who have issues where they can't do what they want, but I also have a level in me, well, there's things you're going to have to do to get where you want to get. And if you don't do the things you don't want to do, you don't get where you want to get. Now, again, I think there are exceptions or people, they have certain limitations. But all I can tell you is work what you have, do what you can, and don't sell yourself short. Because if you think your best life is just going to walk into your room and say, here I am, you out your damn mind. Your best life, you got to go after it. You got to have the grace of God. You got to have good work ethic. You got to be willing to correct your mistakes. And you got to just keep repeating that healthy cycle, because most people are repeating the unhealthy cycle. Love to you, Ryan. I understand, ESP. For homeless people, they can die of exposure at 33. I don't remember the last homeless person I heard of dying at 34 degrees Fahrenheit. You know, in New Jersey, once it gets below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, homeless people get free vouchers for hotels. So a lot of people, what they don't realize is they have what they call like a blue alert. Like as soon as the temperature drops below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, you can go to a hotel. So, and get a subsidy. Now, depending on who you are, but he goes, they often don't have the resources to, well, that's why they get government subsidies, voucher programs, etc. So just remember that a lot of times in the first world countries, no one starves to death. No one really freezes to death. It's the illusion of those who don't know the social programs because they don't have family members on them or they haven't seen the system that just think, oh my God, there's the poor homeless person out there shivering. One is a lot of the homeless people out in the street shivering, they don't want to go to shelters because they want to do their drugs, they want to be free, or they got extreme mental problems. And then when it gets cold, they can still do their drugs or have mental problems because there's a lot of voucher programs until the weather gets out of extreme temperature that will let them do reckless shit. So just remember that. Not that it makes it easier, but it does make it easier. She goes, I have a vehicle to block the wind and expensive North Face. Yes, and you have a job and you took the promotion. So a lot of people want what you have, but a lot of people don't want to do what you do. So remember that when you start to feel too bad, at the same time, never lose your empathy because, you know, you got to have a balanced perspective. Good job. Tony. I like Pataganda. They make great coats. Never heard of them. Tony. ESP. Yeah, that's what happens here in Maryland too. Sadly, we have warming centers during the winter. Yep, here we go. Only a few who don't make it to the centers. I don't know anyone who doesn't. What's really sad is more homeless die in D.C. than Maryland. I want to tell you this. There's going to be more people dying of obesity than dying of homelessness. So I don't see anyone saying, oh my God, we need less Chick-fil-A's. Okay. But they'll say, oh my God, we need more affordable housing. So guys, look, if anything, we need less. Okay. So, you know, so let's stay positive tonight. My contact's getting, it's late night, guys. My contact's getting so gray. I got to go just take a shower too. ESP. I don't like that couple prank stuff, me neither. Even though I watch some videos, I won't be a hypocrite. It sows the seed of distrust. I wouldn't be me in those damn relationships. I'll tell you that. I'll laugh, but I wouldn't be with them. If you can't trust your partner, what's the point of being with them? Yeah, like you trust your partner not to pull a prank on you, and then they do some crazy shit, and then they go, oh no, I had the camera. This was just for fun. I saw a prank the other day. Italian guy who married an American girl. And for the first time in their relationship, because she met him overseas, he started talking mean to her. And he was doing it just for a prank. Okay, but she was shocked because she never heard him talk mean. Now, at the end, the guy felt bad. He goes, oh no, I don't know why I did it. The camera was there. Because now they got 100 plus. They got 100,000 subs. So now they're trying to make that money. But he gonna mess around, fuck up his visa. He better wait till he makes sure he got full citizenship before he do those type of pranks. ESP. At Tony. There are greenhouses up here plenty in Alaska. But you can't grow tropical stuff. Now, ain't no palm trees in Alaska. I don't care how many greenhouses. No watermelon or citrus grown up here. Yep, I can't live up there. Tony, oh no. If we can't grow tropical plants in Maryland, you grow You can't grow them in Alaska. Yeah, Northeast can't grow no damn palm tree either. ESP. When I lived in an apartment, I used to grow peppers from seed of houseplants. Really? My favorite pepper to grow is Jimmy Nadarlo. The only thing I miss from apartment life is gardening plants. Okay. Tony, free hotel vouchers. They don't do that here. I should write my senators about this. Well, I would, before you write your senators, I would talk to a local social worker to see what they do offer. Because even though they may not call them vouchers or something, I'm sure they got a lot of programs. So I would recommend anyone before they feel like, I would recommend people spend some time in homeless shelters, spend some time in food kitchens, working there, helping there, and spend some time talking to a social worker. And what you're going to find out is ain't much a senator can do. Okay, because whatever can be done is being done, and you can't solve every ill of the world. All you can do is give some opportunity and some resources, but you can't solve some things. It's just the way it is. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't try, but I'm just saying, be mindful. ESP. I remember reading in the news about a drunk homeless guy who died of exposure when it was only in the 30s. It happened here in Anchorage. Yeah, ESP, how many people do you know died in Anchorage of car accidents, of domestic dispute, of heart attack? So I'm not going to say like you're not going to find a homeless person who died in the cold weather, but you're going to find more people dying of other things. So the percentage is so small. It's like, you always have to put it in proportion of deaths of the day. But not that it makes it right, but it's just that, look, guys, we're all terminally ill, and some of us are taking more risks than others. And so in some ways, a homeless person says, I don't want to go to a shelter. I don't want to go in subsidized housing. I don't want to go into the system. And so I'm going to be on the street. I'm going to live free. I'm going to live how I want. And they have a right to do that, but they're taking more risk. So when they take a higher risk and they suffer their consequences, then they have to deal with that. Okay. So it's like anything, if you buy Bitcoin with all of your money, you have nothing else. Yeah. If it goes up, you're doing great. If it goes down, you took the risk. And that's what I tell you, I've been getting away a little bit from stealth camping. Why? Just mitigating risk. Does that mean something bad can't happen in a campground? No, of course not. There's a time for everything. There's a time to take more risks. There's time to take less. But it's just life, world we live in, Back to these live comments. Aaron, the only ones we have trouble housing, you see, Aaron knows she's a social worker, are sex offenders. That would make sense. Help is out there. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, sex offenders, obviously, there's going to be more restrictions on where they can live. So, yeah, like everyone who says, oh, we should help the homeless, we should help the homeless. Okay. So let's say there's a homeless person that's a sex offender. Do you want them with a voucher living next to you? Nope. So that's the whole thing. Everyone wants to help, but they don't want them next to them. It's like, where can we put them? Well, I don't know. You go to Kentucky. I don't know. You can put them anywhere. I don't know. Aaron, Tony. Yep, ESP, that happens here too. They get so messed up and passed out and die. It's sad. Tony, Aaron, we ship ours to Florida. There's a whole community of sex offenders in Florida. Yeah, look, there's two parts that I want to be fair, right? Obviously, if you're a sex offender and you pay your time, you did your time, you went in jail or you did whatever you got guilty of, in one sense, how can we penalize people past the time that they've paid the price to society? At the same time, I still do believe, we should be able to understand who's a sex predator in our community, especially if it's a recurring pattern. There's that dynamic there, right? It's like there's empathy because, again, if someone committed a sexual act, a sexual offender, and then they serve their time, technically, they're supposed to be considered rehabilitated and free as anyone else. However, we also know statistically, sex offenders have a very high rate of a reoccurring pattern of offending again. So there has to be this flag system where there's a high-risk person within your community, and you wouldn't want your children, you want to be careful with your children or yourself or whatever. So it's a dynamic that society would always have a struggle with, Brandon, man, that's a sad state about overweight dying. More than homelessness, crazy times. Yeah. How about cigarettes? How about all the skinny people who die from cigarettes? So, a lot of times, too, people like to pick on, obesity, fat people. Guys, I know a lot of skinny people who smoke cigarettes still. So, and that's the number one cause of preventable deaths still in America. The number one cause of preventable deaths is cigarettes. It's the most dangerous drug ever invented in human history. So, it's like, guys, what's more dangerous, being homeless, sleeping in 34-degree weather, or smoking cigarettes for 34 years? Smoking cigarettes. Aaron, and I know I used to smoke cigarettes. Aaron, ESP, one issue is curfew in shelters. Yep, yeah, they can't roam. Some addicts, yep, end up locked out, yep, because they miss curfew. Aaron knows thy system. You nailed it, Aaron. A lot of Florida, laughing. Florida confuses me at Tony. I see Sam's points, but I don't think I can handle the politics. And a lot of what comes out of Florida news-wise. Yeah, I mean, it's a skewed thing. There is that saying, like, Florida, man, there's crazy stuff in Florida. And I'm not going to lie, to some extent you see it. It is a little bit of a freer state, but it's a little bit more of a imbalanced state. There's very wealthy areas, and there's some very high poverty. There's not much, I don't want to say there's not much middle class, but a lot of the money that's in Florida comes from other states, mainly liberal states. Like, everyone likes to say, like, Florida is this ultra red state, and it is, but all the money comes from blue states, pretty much. New York, New Jersey, yeah, and Boston and Ohio. So, it's like, all I can tell you is that every place has its good and bad. And, yeah, is Florida 100% good? No way. The biggest sales pitch for me is that Florida is the warmest state in America in the winter, and that will never change. So, and specifically South Florida, not North Florida. So that's why South Florida is so expensive, because it's the warmest part of America in the winter. The only way you beat winter is if you go to South Florida. You don't beat winter in Arizona. You don't beat winter in California. You don't beat winter in Texas. There's only one state and one part of the state to beat winter. It's South Florida. And that is the number one sales pitch of Florida. Now, the reason why there's a lot of transients, the reason why there's a lot of snowbirds, is because people come to Florida just for that part, for the 3 or 6 months out of the year. And then the other half of the year, they go back up north or wherever they're from. And there's a lot of international people here too. That's the nature of Florida. Aaron, all you have to do is walk into your local health and human services. Here, guys, listen to Aaron, social worker. She knows the system. She goes, all you have to do is walk into the local health and human services office and ask to apply to any program that applies to your situation. Aaron is 100% right. And here's the key thing, though. Then you have to follow up, or you have to answer when your social worker assigned to you finally calls, and you got to follow up with them. Will they do that? Probably not. And they'll go right back to the bottom of the list. ESP. At Aaron, that's why I'm cautious about speaking to Nomad men I see. This is a good point. Many are living in their cars and vans because they are sexual offenders. It's a fair point. Registry can't get them an apartment. It's a fair point. Now, again, to be fair to them, technically they've paid their dues to society. Now, to be fair to you, statistically, they're going to repeat that sexual offending pattern, but not guaranteed. And what a lot of nomads tend to forget is state parks don't do a background check. Some RV parks do a background check, but a lot of campgrounds do not do background checks. So unless there's a warrant on your license, when you stay at a campground, or definitely when you're boondocking, definitely when you're stealthing, definitely when you're in the middle of the forest, the people camping them, many of them are going there, not all, but some are going there because that's where they can go, where they don't have this restriction because of their criminal record, you know. That's a good point. Maybe we should do a whole video about that. Aaron, I know what they did is wrong, but I do feel bad for them as well. Yeah, I mean, especially if they pay their dues, they're trying to correct. I understand both sides of that argument. Being on that list cuts off so many options. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough thing because it is a level of a mental disorder because, again, many of them repeat. However, some don't. I don't know the exact science on it, and there is no exact science to life. It's a tough situation. Tony, I can't blame you for thinking that way, ESP. Some things are sickos in the world for sure. Yeah, look, guys, look, a lot of people who commit crime, it's mental issues. Some is just unexplainable, like bad. But like I say, guys, look, what type of mind would come into a chat to troll? The same type of mind, okay, that would come into someone's life to abuse. It's someone who has no regard for anyone else other than themselves or their delusion. So, as much as we want a world where there's no trolls, where there's no offenders, it's just not the world we live in. Now, again, it's a small percentage of society, of online. But because they commit such heinous acts, it's a very big part of our thought process. Tony, Florida and Maryland are similar, sort of. Very rich, very poor at the same time. Yeah. And, you know, certainly there's areas like that everywhere. In New Jersey, you got very poor, you got very rich. It's everywhere, I guess. That's true. Ryan, Florida for the win. Custom member only dropped a mic emoji. Thank you, brother. Yeah, look, for me, Florida for the win, 90% of the year. What time would I not want to live in Florida? September and October, or any major like hurricane event, which is usually in September and October. 80% of hurricanes happen in late August, September, October. So fall weather is nice up north. You know, I think about this. And Sam, you want to buy a house and 2 months out of the year you're not going to be here? You think about that, you know. Tony says homeless go to Hawaii for the same reason for winter. Well, I don't know if they go to Hawaii because Hawaii is an island you got to fly to. So I think there's a more visible population of the homeless in California, Florida, and maybe Hawaii because of the weather. But, you know, like I said, I don't see this many homeless people in New Jersey. However, there's parts of New Jersey I saw, and when I was in Manhattan, there's a lot of homeless in Manhattan. So it doesn't matter if you're in Florida, which is a conservative state. I see panhandlers every day, or you're in New York City. It doesn't matter what geographical location. Because I remember in the winter, right outside of Penn Station, there was always homeless people. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just, you know, what I think it is most people spend like I did for many years of my life. Most people spend most of their life in their house. And it's like they watch the infomercial of the shivering dog, like dying of starvation. And then the number comes on, oh, help save adopted dogs. And everyone goes to donate to adopted dogs. And it's the same thing with homeless people. Like, everyone's in their house and go, oh, the homeless people. And they go, oh, let's help the homeless. But when you live in the world and you don't live in your house, which I've done now for the past 5 years, you're amongst the homeless. And you see there is hardship, but some of it's self-induced. Some of it they don't want help. And some of it is they're fine. That's how they want to live. And of course, there's exceptions where some people need help, but in my experience, guys, drug or mental problems, most of it, and you know, I'm sure there's exceptions, but that's been the overall riding thing that comes to my mind. It's like, because I know a couple people that got into a homeless algorithm, but it was a legit, like, fall on bad times. They had a little bit of a bad work ethic, though, I ain't gonna lie. But I don't know if that ties into a mental problem. But they used the system, they got some help, and then they got back kind of like on their feet. So I don't know, like some people are low performers, some people lack maybe a level of intellect, maybe a level of physical ability. Some people just, I don't know. There's no way to, Jesus said the poor will always be among us. So you say, oh, should we just accept the poor? No, guys, we have systems. We have voucher, homeless shelters, food stamps. No one starves to death. No one goes without shelter. Are these systems perfect? No. But there's no, even ask a homeless person, how should we eliminate the homeless? It's impossible. No one can tell you. So what should you do? Do what you can. But there's only so much you can do. That's like, do what you can, but there's only so much you can do. Tony, I saw a thing on the news. They're paying to ship the homeless back to the mainland, but they have to sign a waiver saying they won't come back nor stay. I heard something like that at one time. I don't know how true that is. Anything's possible. ESP, that's exactly why I avoid the isolate. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, if you ask me, do I feel safer at an isolated campground on in a remote forest or something like, or do I feel safer in a Walmart parking lot? I'll take a Walmart parking lot, a gym parking lot, a truck stop, a restaurant. I'll take a parking lot in a populated area with security cameras with anytime over a remote campground. Anytime. No doubt. I totally agree. Yeah, and there's no cell phone coverage in those crazy remote areas. I agree with that. I've lived through that. I said never again. I don't want to be the only single female stuck out in the boondocks. I agree. With a bunch of nomad sex offenders. Even if they're not sex offenders, I don't want to be by myself with no cell phone signal in the middle of nowhere. Hell to the no. Michelle, hey Michelle. It's difficult to get a rental if you don't have excellent credit and make 3 or 4 times the rent. That's a fair point. I was turned down because I'm not working even though I have savings. Well, it's a fair point, but then the question would be, why are you not working? Especially now where there's pretty much jobs for anyone who wants to work. So if the answer is because you're disabled, then the next answer would be, well, then go to the human services office and go see a social worker and follow up with them. That would be, I guess, where we would go if we were trying to solve that problem. Oh, $4.99 super chat. Aaron, social worker, thanks for all you do. Thanks for all you do. Mutual reciprocal appreciation. Thank you, Aaron. Love to you. Keep putting your hand to the plow. Best luck in your future dreams, because I know you eventually want to probably have more personal. Look, one thing I learned with my mother and with dating women and with getting older myself is after you raise your kids, you gave so much and you worked and now you want some time for yourself. And now you want to enjoy your life again. I want to tell you this. Don't always assume your grandmother wants to take care of more responsibility. I remember when I had a friend, and I would just say this. Everyone is human. And as you get older and you've already raised a family and you've already figured out how to survive, you're tired. And it's hard when you're younger. When you get middle age and you get to some aches and you've been through some life, you can start to empathize more, hopefully. Older people, 60s, 70s, 80s, etc., Guys, they're getting close to being done. And I'm not saying done as far as dying, but they're done with taking care of a lot of stuff. That's why they want to downsize. That's why they don't want more responsibility. They lived their whole life of doing for others, doing for themselves. They're done. Damn it, Brandon, $5 super chat. Thank you. Damn right. Thanks, brother. Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you. Damn it, guys. Thank you, man. Brandon, Aaron, all my members are going back to these live comments. JBerg99, Journey with Jordan, congratulations. Cal, Savat, thank you. Thank you very much. Let's go back to these live comments. So I got a little bit on tangent. Thank you, guys. Maybe this was, Michelle. We left off at Michelle. Michelle said, Sam, do you have surf or bodyboard yet? I had a bodyboard about a year and a half ago. I threw it out. Why? Because I used it for about 2 years. And then I threw it out. Why did I throw it out? Because as I'm be 42 in 6 months. I'm 41 now. When I hit like 39, one is surfing is, I did paddle boarding and my knees start to buckle after a while. Paddle boarding looks fun, but it's very hard on your knees. Very hard. Surfing, I don't want to do surfing. Too much risk, and I'm not into it. Bodyboarding, it's very rough on you. Again, as you get older, I don't want to do it, even though I'm in good shape. What do I like to do now? I like to jump in the Atlantic Ocean at the end of the day or the middle of the day to cool off. I like to have the sun beating on my body, and that's it. I don't want to boogie board. I don't want to surf, even though I did those things. Now, I want to safely go into the ocean and safely get out. Even as I get older, I know when I'm 70, I'm not going to be able to get in that ocean. Why? Guys, the ocean is very rocky. It's not a pool. There's a lot of inclines. The waves hit the back of your knee. You cut your feet on something. You're not going to be in your 60s, 70s, and 80s swimming in the ocean. You say, I saw a guy 95 doing a marathon. Guys, come on. I want to tell you guys, the pool and the ocean are two different things. And as you get older, the ocean can really screw up your health. You can buckle your knee or something. Good question. Aaron, the state will pay your balance off each month. Maybe that was her suggestion. Yeah. That I'm not sure. I'll defer to Aaron on that. Tony, thank you again, Aaron, for the gracious tip. Tony, see, I have maybe a satellite phone. I'm never without cell signal. Just in case I do hike and go into the wilderness, a lot of it pays to be prepared. No, I mean, it's a fair point. I mean, you can't go wrong being prepared. Satellite phone, yeah, I don't know, I think of Bin Laden, with a satellite phone. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going, guys, I ain't going to no damn mountain. I mean, that's why Bin Laden had a satellite phone. One is trying to stay away from the CIA, even though they still got him. And he was in the mountains of Afghanistan. Guys, I went into the mountains of Vermont. I lost cell phone signal. I said, never again. I said, where's Starbucks? Where's the ocean? All I saw was mountains and no cell phone. I said, hell no. Now, I got to be in the elitist part of Florida, man. I can't do that. But love to everyone who loves those spots. I love good people that love those spots. Brandon, thank you again, brother, very much. Thank you, Brandon. Aaron, don't worry, Sam. I have a fantastic plan. Excited about my future. Well, that's awesome. Aaron, let me ask you this. I'm curious. And you guys and girls, let me know in the live feed too. Aaron, as you now raised your kids and, you did your career, I know you still got to do things, but is part of your future plans owning property? Because a lot of people, as they get to their empty nesters, they want to sell their property and they want to be nomads, or they want to rent a little place and they don't want responsibility. I understand that. I think about that. ESP. At Tony. They say phone is smart if you spend a lot of time in the backcountry. Yeah, satellite phone? Probably. Yeah, I don't spend any time in the backcountry, so it wouldn't be good for me. ESP. Satellite phone. I got you. Aaron. Are you a nomad at Tony? Brandon. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. I know Tony plays the saxophone in the band, so I don't think he's a nomad, but A lot of musicians are like nomads, like truck drivers. I remember watching an interview with Beyonce's father, and Vlad and Beyonce's father were being interviewed, and Vlad from Vlad TV was like, "Man," he goes, "I'm a millionaire, but I don't like to own property." He goes, "I'd rather just rent." Uh, and Beyonce's father was like, "I rent." He goes, "I have some investment property, but I just rent." He goes, "Why?" He goes, "Because creative people, especially if you're always on the move and you're always traveling, why do you want to own property? It's just a burden." So, something to think about. Tony, Aaron, no, I'm not. I'm on the road. Yeah, enough though. Laughing. I'm a musician. Yeah, like Beyonce's father. Tony, I travel over 250. Yeah. See, that's the thing. If you travel over 250 days a year, do you need a home base? Do you need to own a home base? It depends. I mean, not really. 90% of the year, you're not home. But psychologically, asset allocation wise, and, it all depends. But the bottom line, guys, you can wait till 2023 to buy a house. Will I? In theory, it sounds good, but I don't think I'll wait till 2023. I mean, in theory, I could see housing, there'd be more inventory, maybe prices go down a little bit. But in actuality, I don't see a huge crash. I could be wrong, could be one. I didn't think the government would intervene as much as they did during coronavirus. So I think for me, I'm at where I want to be. Could you live in an RV or live as a nomad in Florida? Sure, there's people do it all the time. I've done it. It's very nomad friendly as far as there's a lot of parks. Now again, you can't park anywhere. It depends the size of RV you had, if you had an RV. But because of the weather, look, living mobile in Florida is very doable. But it gets to a certain point where it has a give and a take, man. It's fun to be on the road, man. It's fun to always plan your next thing, even if it's the next campground or next spot, to not be attached. It's also a little bit taxing on your soul. Well, a little bit wearing. Property is a give and take too, man. Property is a burden, but it is a level of stability that gets you in a rhythm. So I want to say this. It's very important to me tonight. Staying at a campground for the past week has been a blessing. And that's brought some stability that I've truly enjoyed. Okay. I've stealth camped for the past 5 years, 90% of the time. I'm not against stealth camping if you do it responsibly. And I don't begrudge people if they're at that season, I'm at a different season. For me, there's more risk to be stealth camping, even to be heavy on the road at this point, than there is to have a home base. I don't want to eliminate risk, because calculated risk is needed. I don't want to just live in a safe bubble, but I am the bag, okay? I am the ability to have the ability. If I don't mitigate the risk for my own well-being, guys, you don't do anything. Don't forget, you are the bag, You can't get the bag if you're not secure, you know what I mean? So I could cut the apple either way, guys. Living on the road, I could tell you, has value. Having a home base, if it's below your means where you want to live, has value. There's no right or wrong answer. There's mitigate risk, there's wisdom, and, it's the grace of God, and there's exit strategies. You buy a house, you don't like it, you sell. Worst case scenario, you buy a house, you get in a bad situation financially, get foreclosed on. It takes about 2 years to foreclose on people. And then you have bad credit and you become a nomad, okay? Or you sell your house, you get in your car, you get in a campground, and then you're with people who got foreclosed on. But I want to tell you this. I've stayed at a bunch of Thousand Trails campgrounds, state parks, RV parks. I've never felt threatened. Now, I move with wisdom, but I don't know everyone's background there. But I've never felt like, oh my God, my life's in danger. I mean, never. So, and to me, again, the whole point of living on the road is if I really did feel threatened, guys, I'll start my car, get the fuck out of there. So I'm not negative on, I like campgrounds. I like RV parks. I mean, there's a part of my soul that says I never want to own property again. I have no problem dying in a campground. The problem is, if there were campgrounds that I truly loved, that you could stay all the time, but a lot of them are state parks, you got to move. And then the other part is, you know, when it comes to like a non-state park, the rents go up, and the recurring rents on a decent park are at least $600-700 at least. And that's the same amount of money of a recurring fees for a paid off, spot by the beach, a mobile home park or RV park that you own the lot. You're paying that same 600. So if you're going to pay that same 600 no matter what, why not own? Well, the counter argument will be because you got no liability. You know, remember like what was the movie with Julie Roberts? Was that Pretty Woman? Well, I heard someone say one time, like, getting up, even though I'm not pro prostitute, they were like, well, you're paying a prostitute. Maybe it was Charlie Sheen. You're paying a prostitute. Why would you pay him? You can get any girl you want. And he goes, I'm not paying the prostitute to have sex with her. I'm paying her to leave. You know, so you can say rent. I'm not, my money ain't going nowhere. I'm paying money so I don't have to be liable for nothing. Damn it. I want to tell you right now, man, that get me excited when I think about that motherfucker. But, I don't know, man. I hate commitment, man. I'm not lying about that. Oh, we got more comments. Let's go to them. Fuck it, it's Saturday. See, now, could I do this live feed in my house and be more comfortable? Yeah, I would be more comfortable. I'm not going to lie to you, two guys. I do see me with the ability to adapt to another dimension where I got a little bit more responsibility, but I'm in my house. I got a robe on. I'm in a comfortable recliner, okay? And I'm over there. We talking about some other shit. I can see myself doing it. I'm not going to lie. Where are we at? Tony says he was on the road a lot. Aaron was saying, no, I am selling and tossing all my things right now. She's talking about downsizing towards the end of her career, and she raised kids. I'm in extremely good health, praise the Lord. For 47, okay, good. You're still young too, relatively. And young at heart. Yeah, you're middle-aged, but, I can hear you. I'm going remote at work. Oh, there you go. And will run crisis lines while being a traveling therapist. Oh, so you're going to be a nomad. Are you going to live out of your vehicle, or are you going to get an RV? That's an interesting question. Tony, Sam, I get it, but I need a house after all the traveling. No, I get that too. That's a fair point, Tony. Psychologically, emotionally, and again, asset allocation wise, I get the home base. I do. I get it. Oh, T, super chat. Thank you, T. $4.99. It's not over yet. We're in the after party. Love all your videos. Thank you. And my live feeds. Thank you, T. Just when you thought the after party was over, the DJ said, turn another song on. Why? Because it's Saturday. Okay? I'm living this nomadic life in South Florida. Some of my dreams have come true with my location, with my side hustles, with my job, with my life. Some dreams failed, some recovered, some lost, some part of life changes forever. I worry that I'm in such a dimension now. If I go into another dimension of a house, do I lose this free creative spirit? I don't worry as much because I know I have a level of discipline in me that I can stay to a point where I stay myself going. I will say this. I'll never be, if I own property, I mean, I'll never be like this mode I'm at now. But some of that, even that's psychological. Because look, guys, if the property goes south, I know the system. So even if the property went south, guys, it's like, well, even if everything went horrible, well, okay, now you got to foreclose on me. And if the property's paid off, then you got to get taxed. So that takes 2-3 years. Now, again, do I ever foresee that happening? No, God willing, you never know, but that's worst case. Worst case scenario, hurricane comes. All right, house blows down, I put an RV there. Worst case scenario, I lose all my money in the house. I still got my emergency fund. I'm back in my car. I'm not saying any of these scenarios are good, but I'm saying in life, remember, guys, a lot of the worst things are fears that we're building up. Now, when you don't have anything financially, and when you're not able to do for yourself, the fear is I hoard because I don't think I can get anything again. And I understand that, but all I can tell you is go see a social worker, because there's plenty of things you can have, but you got to follow up. Now, if you're lazy, which a lot of people have mental problems are, maybe it's a mental thing with their mind, they're lazy. Again, no one's going to be able to spoon feed you. So, I mean, there is a limit to how much you're going to get help. I mean, you got to remember, guys, you got to actually put your spoon in your mouth. There's a scripture in the book of Proverbs that says the lazy person puts food to their mouth, but they won't even eat it. So, guys, I mean, maybe that's a mental disability. I don't know, but that's a real thing. Back to these live comments, guys. We're on fire. We've been on here for 136 minutes. Okay, 1 hour, 36 minutes. Well, more than 100 minutes. I don't know. I'm getting tired. All right, bear with me. I think Aaron was saying is she gonna sell everything. Tony. Oh yeah, I was talking about that. You know, home base. Michelle. Aaron, that's awesome. I agree. Tony. Plus, where the hell would I put all my saxophone? Yeah, a lot of people have a lot of stuff. They need a home base or a storage unit. I don't want a lot of stuff, but I respect those who look. If your gift is to play musical instruments, you need musical instruments. I get it. He goes, I have 5. They're all I ain't fitting in a car. No, I get it. If that's your passion, I wouldn't tell you to throw away things. And if you're using them, if you told me Inspirational Nomad, I got 10 saxophones, I only use 1. Well, I would say get rid of those damn 9. And you would say screw you. And I would say, well, you're right. Look, if you want to keep your 9, I would never. I always give just my opinion. But definitely, if you have a passion, like there's some people, like Savat was saying, his family has a passion for construction. If you have a passion for construction, you need a place for your tools. And you may need a shed. I hate construction. I hate maintenance. Everyone's different. You'll get what you need. Aaron. But I think this is a good example for my boys. I want them to learn to support women's dreams the way the women in their lives do their dreams. So they roll their eyes and give me no shit. Well, that's a good comeback, Aaron. Yeah. Throw it in their space. Yeah. You want me to support, your cheapness and, you got the money, but you don't want to do this. Well, support me. I want to live on the road. You want to go to the bachelor party. It's risky. I want to live on the road. It's risky. Yeah. Throw it back. Yeah. I agree with that. Aaron, when I'm in my 50s, I'll RV, but I need to find my right spot first because, New Hampshire, isn't it? Well, I agree with that, yeah. I mean, love and respect to New Hampshire. Shout out to D. I agree with that, Aaron. Look, yeah, if I RV, what would I do? Well, if I don't get the home base, I'm looking at the Solus Pocket, one of the smallest Class Bs on the market. Would I consider a travel trailer? I like some travel trailers. I like having a regular vehicle. I don't like towing and then I have to be at a campground. The reason I like the van is because if I don't have to be at a campground. I mean, I can stealth anywhere. But again, do I really want to stealth anymore? Not my preferable method anymore. I did it enough. Could you stealth in a travel trailer? Well, you can park it anywhere, but you ain't stealthing. Aaron, I read that. ESP, at Aaron. This is great. Exciting plans indeed. I agree. Look, to downsize and to live on the road is very exciting. And even if I get a home base, I'm not going to lie, it is exciting. Aaron, thanks, ESP. Aaron, fiance kid helped me get debt free. That's awesome. Blessings. Yeah, look, if you're debt free, that's awesome thing. Where were we at? Oh, Tony. Aaron, New Hampshire is cold, yeah. No way I live in New England. But I wish you the best of luck. I agree with that. Brennan, You should be a camp host at a state park sometime. My friend swears by it. She's 63. Well, here's why I wouldn't. Because I could make more money in door dashing or working at Walmart. Pretty much when you're a camp host, all you're getting is a free place to park your RV for the month. In exchange, you're working 20, 30, or 40 hours a week. So I could generate more money with my own abilities. So for me, I'd rather make at least $2,000 a month, pay for a state park, which would be about $800 a month out of my own pocket, and then I got $1,200 surplus. So, and if I got to work no matter what, because you got to work as a camp host, you got to check people in, you got to clean the bathrooms, you got to clean the sites. Why wouldn't you just work at Walmart, make $2,000 a month, pay for your own campground, and pocket $1,200? I think the camp host is a scam, unless that's just a passion and you're not good at other stuff. Because I think you can make more money with your time. Now, if you only got to do 20 hours of work, and the only other benefit with being a camp host is if you're at a state park, if you're a camp host, you don't have to leave every 2 weeks. Okay. That's the value. So if you find a good camp host campground that you like, you can stay the entire season or as long as you're the camp host. But you got to manage your time, because if you're spending 40 hours a week to make $800 a month, guys, I mean, that's like working for $5 an hour. So you got to know all the metrics of being a camp host. And again, if you're lazy and you don't want to work, you're going to get fired as a camp host, because camp host, again, you got to register people, you got to use the computer, you got to clean toilets, you got to do stuff. Aaron, it depends though. There's some sites that are not as hard as others. It all depends. Aaron, he literally made me an Excel budget. I suck at money, but he made it easy. Well, that's a good point. Everyone has a different gift. Some people are creative, some people are logical, some people are balanced in the middle. So yeah, if you don't have that gift, someone else helping you, there's nothing wrong with that. Aaron, New Hampshire is, because my family's here. You never go. I want to tell you, you're always going to be drawn back to where your family is if you have good relationships with them. And if you're a mother or grandmother, you will always end up back there. For most people, not all people, but most. Exact problem, Sam talks about. They all know my plan is, that's a start. It is a start. I would never want to steal your dream. I always want to be honest with you guys. It's extremely emotionally hard to separate away logistically from your family. Can it be done? Yes. Have I done it? Yes. So what should you do? Take it one step at a time. Now you take it one step at a time, see where you go. ESP. I could never be a camp host. I'm not cleaning any vault toilets. Yeah. And you're probably make more money on another job. T, thank you again for your gracious super chat. Thank you everyone who's given me a super chat. Thank you to all my members. Thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you to everyone who clicked the thumbs up. Brandon's laughing at ESP. Aaron, yes, I have a van. Okay. Aaron, I couldn't camp host either. Same reason, ESP. Aaron, thanks, Tony. Pat, Pago, what's up, Pago? I just woke up to use the toilet paper. Well, Pago, if I buy a home base, they're going to have bathhouses where they still supply the toilet paper. Why? I refuse to clean a shower. But the more I've been on the road, the more I warm up to a little cozy shack, possibly. Aaron, that's a ton of travel, Tony. It is a lot. Brandon, what is your after party song? I just got to know. I want to bump that ish right now. I would say let's go Jay-Z and R. Kelly in I just want to freak your body, yada, yada. I just want to do everybody. Yeah, on the Best of Both World albums, it makes me bring me back to when I was in a strip club and we were doing an after party. I don't know if the song is called Honey. Jay-Z and R. Kelly, Honey, maybe is the name of the song. Is on it was on the Best of Both World album. It just makes me think of, we turned to another level. Aaron, laughing at Pat Go. Brandon, hey, hand wave emoji. Tony, Aaron, yep. I think it's too much some days, but I have a band to feed literally. Yeah, you got people depending on them for financial employees. Tony, literally, damn, typo. I got you. ESP at Tony. Not only would that not only would many saxophones not fit in a vehicle, but the this is a good point, widely fluctuating temperatures and humidity. That's what gets you, the humidity. Especially in Florida, I found that out. In New Jersey, I had no problem with the humidity. Not as far as feeling, but as far as like dampness on your clothes, that's when you run into a problem. It'll cause havoc, and it's probably not good for musical instruments. Yeah, probably rust them out, destroy them. I agree with that. Aaron, I think your passion is inspiring, Tony. Yeah. Tony, ESP, no, it's not that I have to stay at a steady temperature. Anything below 50 can cause the brass to break. Oh, that's interesting. And bend and snap, and then damn reeds are impossible to get out of. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I played the saxophone for about 2 months and then I quit. Brandon, that makes so much sense. I'm glad you informed me. I thought it was a good idea, not good. Yeah, I thought it was too. And again, it does have some value. What is the value of being a campground host? You can stay more than 2 weeks. You can stay there for the entire season or year, depending on the regulations. What's the bad news? The bad news is, depending on how much time you have to work at the campground, you can make more at most other jobs, including Walmart and DoorDash. And if you're lazy and you're not going to work, even being a campground host is work. So there's no way you get out of doing any work. However, this is the key. Everyone has different gifts and different things that work for them. So I truly do believe that some people being a campground host for their individual circumstance may work for them. For me, no. For many other people, no. But remember, guys, this is what makes the world go round. Everyone has a different way. And what may work for you now may not work for you after you do it. And vice versa. Everything has a season. Nothing lasts forever. Charles at Pat Go is blowing it up. Pat Go's in the house. Tony. Thanks, Aaron. I love what I do. It's not a job, really. It's fun. And the travel is enjoyable. Been all 50 states. Quite a few countries. That's interesting. Aaron, that's how I feel about writing, Tony. Well, that's good. Yeah, you've got to find your passion. Look, to me, part of being a nomad is finding your passion. And if you can find a way to make some money off it, it's a blessing. Why? Because to me, that's the ultimate blessing of life. You live on your terms. You're able to do your passion. And you're able to make income with it. What could be better than that? With your good health, that's the best life. Yeah. Aaron, awesome. All 50 states. Brandon, awesome, brother. You keep it real. Thanks, brother. Thank you. And thank you for that track tonight. Thank you, Brandon, for your graciousness, support, love, and reciprocal appreciation to you. Brandon, hand wave. Thank you. All right, guys, almost 2 hours on this live feed. I thank you, each and every one of you, men, women, and everyone listening. Dogs, cats, I love you. I hope that my videos help you. I hope you get some information, some motivation. I hope you like watching my perspiration. Above all else, I just try to talk about some topics I think about, I'm going through, I've learned about. Ultimately, you got to do your own research and figure out what works for you. We're all individuals. Everyone on this planet has a different fingerprint. Different than your mother, different than your brother, different than your child. So if you have a different fingerprint, there's got to be some reason. And that some reason is that only you can put the spoon in your mouth. You're not a baby, you're an adult. And you got to figure out what's best for you. And if you can't figure that out, someone's got to do it for you. And if you're in a bad situation and you need help, there's nothing wrong with needing help. If you get help, get it, sustain yourself, and try to go and be as independent as you can while, being part of a healthy community, if that's your thing. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, ESP. Thank you, everyone. Truly appreciate everyone who has supported me on this YouTube journey. I truly thank you. I thank you. I thank you.